Hello everyone and welcome to this session about busting myths in SAP Integration Suite. My name is Paltzer and I'm from the product management team for SAP Integration Suite. Yeah, I'm very happy to have you here on this session. Please also use the chat function to put in your questions. I have a team of colleagues who will support me with questions, and at the end of the session, of course, I will also reserve time to go through your questions. And what do you expect from this session here, busting myths with SAP Integration Suite? And actually, we would like to address here a couple of key questions that we keep on getting on SAP Integration Suite in the area. Is SAP Integration Suite enterprise ready? How do we compete with the other competitors in the integration market? Other questions are, can you use SAP Integration Suite also for the integration of non-SAP applications? Can you use Integration Suite for high volume, large scale scenarios? How can I monitor Integration Suite centrally? Can it be used only for cloud integrations or also for on-premise integration scenarios? And how can I ensure that my integration scenarios don't break after a platform upgrade? So these are typical questions that we keep on getting. We would like to address them with this question here. And as you can imagine, of course, every of these questions we will answer in a positive way. So all these questions, of course, we can address easily with SAP Integration Suite. At the end, of course, we have a summary, and I hope I can show you now how we can positively answer all these questions. Let's start with the first one. Is SAP Integration Suite enterprise ready, and how does it compete in the market, in the integration platform as a service market? So bottom line is SAP Integration Suite is SAP strategic integration platform as a service for the integration of APIs, events, and business processes. Integration Suite is part of the business technology platform and is the tool of choice in SAP to integrate APIs, business processes, and events within SAP applications, be it our cloud ERP system, any industry-specific solutions, spend management, business network, human capital management, and also for ecosystem and third-party solutions. And to drill down a bit more into SAP Integration Suite, this picture you might have seen already in some of our sessions. SAP Integration Suite is not only a technical integration platform, but also comes with rich prepackaged integration content, like 3,400 prepackaged integration scenarios and integration flows for the integration of SAP as well as non-SAP applications, 250 adapters for the integration of SAP and non-SAP applications. The majority of all these adapters, 240 plus adapters, only for the integration of non-SAP applications. So the big majority of these adapters are for non-SAP integration scenarios, 3,800 APIs, 600 business events, 300 integration artifacts also from business partners, from our partner community and community content. So also the partners, non-SAP partners, contribute with content for non-SAP integration scenarios. We leverage artificial intelligence for proposal services, interface descriptions, for example, iFlow step proposals, and we also offer automated migration tools to migrate, for example, from process orchestration to SAP Integration Suite. Bottom line is, beyond all these capabilities and features and functions, SAP Integration Suite provides a rich set of content and adapters for non-SAP integration. And here you can see the capabilities of SAP Integration Suite, cloud integration for bread and butter application to application integration scenarios, integration with government agencies, B2B integration with trading partner management and the integration advisor capability, open connectors for the integration with non-SAP adapters, API management for API-led integrations, graph with unified API to access SAP and non-SAP applications in a unified API independent of the implementation of the APIs, advanced event mesh for event-driven integrations, migration assessment I mentioned already, and the edge integration cell for on-premise integration scenarios, on-prem to on-prem integration scenarios. So key summary of all these slides were that with SAP Integration Suite, we address any integration pattern, API-led integrations, event-driven integrations, classical A2A integration, application-to-application integration, integration, integration with business partners via different industry standards like EDIFACT, ANSIX 12, and also integration with government agencies. And this is what also Gartner acknowledges us as here as a kind of a summary slide. SAP Integration Suite is definitely an enterprise-ready integration platform addressing all integration scenarios and patterns, integration patterns, and on top comes with rich prepackaged integration content. And according to Gartner, no other integration vendor offers such a breadth, such a wealth of integration scenarios and all this prepackaged integration content. And with this, SAP Integration Suite is definitely an enterprise-ready integration platform as a service. Second question, can I use Integration Suite also for the integration with non-SAP applications? And also here, definitely yes. I mentioned also previously, here again, you see a long list of adapters that are available out of the box with SAP Integration Suite. And we even have to search for the SAP adapters. There are just a few SAP adapters, IDOC adapter, RFC adapter, XI adapter, and a couple of application adapters, Ariba adapter, SuccessFactors adapters, and an MDI adapter. And that's it. 6 SAP application, 6 SAP adapters, and all the rest of these 250 plus adapters are all for SAP and non-SAP integrations. HTTP adapter, FTP adapter, SFTP adapter, mail adapter, OData adapter, AMQP, JMS, AS2, AS4, Kafka, RabbitMQ, JDBC, Data Store, LDAP, and all kinds of non-SAP applications. Amazon Web Services with S3 buckets, SQS, SNS, SWF, Salesforce adapter, Microsoft Dynamics adapter, Microsoft Azure Storage, SharePoint, Dropbox, ServiceNow. The list is long and long and long. So definitely the majority of the adapters on SAP Integration Suite is for the integration of non-SAP applications. So there is a long list of adapters available on SAP Integration Suite and also prepackaged content, and you can find the list of adapters as well as the prepackaged content on the Business Accelerator Hub, which again here provides a lot of advantages. The prepackaged content, taking one example, in average, each and every integration flow that we deliver out of the box is around saves customers 5 times or makes customers 5 times faster in their integration scenarios, configurations, and 10 save costs of around a factor of 10. These are, of course, average numbers. The more complex an integration scenario is, the prepackaging is, the more money and time customers save using this prepackaged content. But in average, 5 times faster, 10 times of cost savings, times 3,400 examples where we deliver prepackaged integration content, so you can save a lot of money and time using the prepackaged content, again with the majority of non-SAP integration scenarios. You can see also a lot of partner solutions delivered here on the SAP Accelerator, Business Accelerator Hub. Also beyond these pure adapters, we ship also prepackaged integration content for end-to-end integration scenarios. Like here, let's take here S4HANA integration with Salesforce, where we provide also prepackaged content for including the mappings for the exchange of product master data, account data, sales order data, availability information data from S4HANA to Salesforce and vice versa. And then we can also retrieve account or sales contract information and push them back into an SAP S4HANA system. So all the mappings are provided. You don't have to now dig deep into the APIs, try to understand the APIs on both the sender and receiving systems in S4HANA and Salesforce. All this work is delivered out of the box by SAP. Similarly, also Workday integration, ServiceNow integration, beyond the pure adapters, SAP ships also prepackaged content, which makes it super smooth to integrate with all kinds of non-SAP applications. Of course, you can modify this content. These contents are templates. They might not fit in every use case. You might have done some extensions, maybe added a couple of fields on the S4 or Salesforce side, for example, but using an example and extending it, it's still much, much faster than starting from scratch, trying to understand the APIs and building the content from scratch. So definitely SAP Integration Suite can be used for non-SAP integration scenarios. Here, one more examples here, all publicly available on the SAP Business Accelerator Hub. If you search here for S4HANA, you can find all all the prepackaged content where SAP provides integration content on SAP Integration Suite, for example, for the integration with government agencies like Colombia, Chile, Italy, Portugal, which are all integration scenarios integrating with non-SAP applications, with Oracle, PriceFix, Salesforce mentioned here again, ServiceNow, Qualtrics. So tons of prepackaged content available for the integration of non-SAP applications as well. So definitely, bottom line, you can use SAP Integration Suite for the integration of non-SAP applications. Third questions, can you use SAP Integration Suite in large-scale, high-volume scenarios? And here also a definite yes, just like take a look here at the upper questions, which you can see here on the upper, in this upper section of the slide. So we have customers who integrate millions of integration messages, cloud integration messages on a daily basis on a single tenant. And similarly, we also have customers who process millions of API calls on a daily basis on a single tenant. So customers process millions of integration scenarios and API scenarios on a single tenant on a daily basis, and so on. And there are many examples for this. So overall, now for all our tens of thousands of customers of Integration Suite, we process here billions of messages on a monthly basis. And the customers are connected to so many applications. Again, the majority of them with non-SAP applications. And just to have here one public example, Elcube, this is a public customer success story, and you can read here the numbers on your own. 5 million messages here processed in average on a daily basis for cloud integration capability. And similarly, 50 million of API calls on a monthly basis, so 50 divided by 30, roughly 30 days, also multiple millions of messages, millions of API calls processed via the API management capability of SAP Integration Suite. So also here, bottom line is SAP Integration Suite is used by customers in high volume scenarios today. Of course, with the iFlows, the integration flows, you have some degrees how to configure and design your integration scenarios. And of course, as always, a toolbox gives you degrees of freedom, and not every scenario might be able to process messages in a high volume fashion. So we have provided here design guidelines here on this public webpage here. Again, in the user documentation and on the Business Accelerator tab, there are also design guidelines which give you also guidance which factors have influence on performance. So if you process your messages and you store the messages after each and every pipeline step and store them in the database, as you can all imagine, this is of course not very performant integration flow. So there are also guidelines how to optimize, which are the influence factors, large message payloads, for example, security steps, any step, of course, that you add in the pipeline, of course, will need to be transacted and, of course, have an influence of the overall end-to-end processing time of your integration scenarios. So please also take kindly a look into the design guidelines that we provide here, which are the influence factors on performance for your integration scenarios. And there are also best practices for enterprise patterns and for typical integration patterns like content-based routing, aggregator, splitter pattern. So kindly take a look at these guidelines here. And also what we would like to highlight here, there's also a myth out there. There's only a limited number of JMS queues available. No, not at all. You can reach multiple thousands of JMS queues on one single tenant of SAP Integration Suite. There is a self-service via which you can increase the number of JMS queues to 100. And if you need more, again, multiple thousand of JMS queues, you can just create simply a ticket and request for more JMS queues. And similarly, if you see also, my tenant does not really perform greatly, what are the issues here? Also here, kindly open a ticket and we will help you in scaling your scenarios. And we scale very, very well in steady increase of scenarios. If the increase of the volume scenarios are maybe just steadily increasing. If you have peak load scenarios like a Black Friday scenario, Christmas sales, or year-end scenarios, it's always great to inform SAP upfront so that we can do a proper sizing of your tenants so that we're not surprised of the peak load scenarios. This you can all discuss together with SAP. Just open a ticket and at no extra cost we can provide you with sufficient resources to process your high high volume scenarios with SAP Integration Suite. Yeah, then coming to one other topic is the how can you monitor SAP Integration Suite centrally, and there's also a very good response here with SAP Cloud Application Lifecycle Management. We have free of charge available for any SAP Cloud customer. You can use SAP Cloud Application Lifecycle Management like in the previous past. The SAP Solution Manager, I know it's not a fair comparison, but Cloud Application Lifecycle Management is a cloud application lifecycle management service which gives you also the opportunity as a cloud managed service to monitor end-to-end integration scenarios, not only on one or multiple SAP Integration Suite tenants, but also into backend applications like SAP Concur, SuccessFactors, Ariba, Fieldglass, Customer Experience, S4HANA. So we have an end-to-end monitoring of your entire end-to-end integration scenario. This is, of course, the response from our side. And the SAP Integration Suite, of course, has a local monitoring tool which monitors the integration scenarios locally on SAP Integration Suite. But for end-to-end integration scenarios, SAP Cloud Application Lifecycle Management is the response, which has multiple additional capabilities. You have notification, alerting channels, for example, via emails, Microsoft Teams, Slack, ServiceNow, Jira, and you also have a health monitoring capability, which also monitors, for example, if certificates are about to expire, key pairs are about to expire. So these kind of scenarios, these health monitoring scenarios, are also supported via SAP Cloud Application Lifecycle Management, which is again a tool free of charge, and of course we integrate into SAP Cloud Application Lifecycle Management and can benefit from all these alerting and health monitoring capabilities. You can also monitor, this is like a screenshot how it looks like, when you can find errors, for example, in your end-to-end integration scenarios, from where you can drill down into, for example, the cloud integration capability of SAP Integration Suite. Yeah, then can SAP Integration Suite only used for cloud integration scenarios? Not at all. One of my favorite slides, of course, is now the Edge integration cell is in general availability. So you might have heard it in the keynote already. So with this, we address finally also these on-premise to on-premise integration scenarios. Not only process integration, also event-driven and API-led integrations you can process via the Edge integration cell. We run on multiple Kubernetes environments based on Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, SUSE Ranger, and beginning of next year also IBM Red Hat OpenShift is on the roadmap. It's a customer managed service, so you as a customer are responsible to set up and run the Edge integration cell and upgrade it, of course, on a regular basis. But you can use Edge integration cell to process locally in your private cloud deployment option or in your private landscape. You can run API, event, and process integration scenarios completely on-premise via the Edge integration cell. And how can you ensure that my scenarios don't break after platform upgrade? There are two options available. One would be the delayed software update, where you can delay the software update, for example, on your productive tenant, and then you have 1 week time to test all your critical integration scenarios on your test or development tenant. This is a self-service, or if you would like to use a paid service because you have so many integration scenarios and you cannot do this on a monthly basis to test after each and every platform upgrade, there's also a customer test service available where you hand over your integration scenario to us and we test your iFlows in behalf of you in our own test suite and will only update the integration tenants if also your integration scenarios don't break after the platform upgrade. Yeah, and coming to my last slide, I hope with this deep dive into some of the 6 key questions that we get all the time, I hopefully could respond to you in a positive way. SAP Integration Suite definitely is an enterprise-grade integration platform as a service, can be used with all these 250 plus adapters for non-SAP integration scenarios, can be used in high-volume scenarios, processing millions of messages on a daily basis, cloud application lifecycle management for end-to-end monitoring, Edge integration cell for on-premise deployment integration scenarios, and there's also test capabilities available for regression testing to make sure your integration scenarios don't break after a platform upgrade. Thank you for listening, and now I'm looking forward for any questions in the chat.
Live Q&A.
Super, and I see here already a couple of questions. Thank you so much for your questions. So I just read them out loud. Here is one from Aman, SAP Cloud Integration for Data Services. CPI Data Services is no more part of the Integration Suite portfolio. Which portfolio is CPI Data Services currently part of? This is a very good question. Actually, as you rightly mentioned, the data service capability of cloud integration was or is part still of the Neo-based integration platform, cloud platform. However, it's mainly used in the context of IBP, Integrated Business Planning. The successor product actually is SAP DataSphere for all your end-to-end data integration scenarios. However, we are currently testing whether the IBP scenario use case can also be covered with SAP Integration Suite. It looks very good that actually with SAP Integration Suite you can also cover these data integration scenarios for the integration with IBP, and hopefully very soon we can also announce this publicly that IBP customers can also use SAP Integration Suite for the integration of data with IBP. Yeah, and then maybe one question here, Laura, how easy it is to grow or increase a current subscription in case more messages are needed. This is super easy. You can just, so we monitor, of course, the usage of your messages, and in case you would need, you process more messages than you have license for. Of course, we will get a report, and the account executive, your account executive, will contact you and will kindly inform you, hey, you have an overusage of your integration scenarios. Please, you need to pay for the additional messages that you have processed on your SAP Integration Suite tenants. So you will be automatically informed by the account executive. We don't switch off your integration scenarios. You can do an overusage, and we just will charge you then afterwards. Yeah. And then also one more question here from Shailish. Which solution is PO's NetWeaver BPM and BRM part of now? This is SAP Build Process Automation. So actually a lot of integration patterns from BPM and BRM we address via the flexible pipeline of the integration flows. So here almost all integration pattern and use cases can be addressed with focus, of course, of the system-centric integration processes. Any business processes where you have human interaction or business rules management are addressed via the SAP Process Automation, via the SAP Build Process Automation service, which is also included as a link in the user documentation of the migration tool. So here you can find further information on this response. Then one more question. We now have an ABAP program developed to call APIs to get and post data without any integration layer. What is the recommendation to migrate those programs through Integration Suite? I suppose, yes, definitely. So with SAP Integration Suite, we would definitely always recommend to use it for any API-led business process integration and event-driven integration scenarios. So basically, if you have your APIs or your ABAP proxies in place, you can simply put SAP Integration Suite in the middle, design your end-to-end integration scenarios, reuse your APIs and API proxies, and can integrate your integration scenarios via the SAP Integration Suite. And one more question is here from Amar. And is there a data correction SAP standard solution available like AAF for business users to correct data? Right. Yes, for data. So I saw this question also earlier. Thank you very much for the question. So for data correction, we don't have a solution currently as of today. So we recommend here, or the current solution AAF is used mainly for end-to-end business user monitoring and correct the data in the backend system. If you need to correct the payload data on the Integration Suite as such. Currently, this would not be possible. Here, it would be recommended to use AAF do these corrections on the business backend. Yeah, thank you very much for listening to this session here. I wish you all the best and hopefully see you soon on any event around SAP Integration Suite. Thank you and bye-bye.